said you can bury the workman, but the work will go on. You can silence the voices, but you can't stop the song.
Welcome to Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged with your host, Brain Fitzpatrick. Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged is a snapshot of the day-to-day experiences of disabled individuals as they navigate the world around us. We wish to shed light and open your eyes on a new perspective of people with disabilities. And by going unplugged, we can discuss viewpoints we hope will challenge our viewers' points of view. Most of us have disabilities we must live with, but what defines us is the way we deal with them. And now, here's your host, Brain Fitzpatrick.
Good afternoon, folks. This is Brain Fitzpatrick coming to you live from the facilities of Pittsburgh Community Television. This show is going to be a rather interesting show, as all my shows hopefully are. But let's say this to start. I got a very interesting compliment, and if I'm getting one bit of recognition, one statement about the show, that's enough to keep me going, doing this after week. And the person said, I like what you were talking about the city and how the city needs to improve and stuff like that. And what you were saying about the city council was right on point and very enlightening. So I thank the person for that, and I thank you. Thank the 4 people that we have on YouTube right now. 4 followers on YouTube. Today, I want to talk about more about the reality of disabilities and the reality of the role of caregivers in general. I won't say this is all PCA related, but there are a couple things that came up during the week that I think is very, very, very important. And a couple of those things, when this is particularly with me, when somebody says to me, when it comes to a PCA doing something that they know that they're not supposed to do, or they know I can't allow them to do, and they tell me, don't say anything. You might as well not bother saying that, because you know everybody that works with me, if you tell me not to say anything, unless if it's about my care and about the safety of me, you're darn right I'm going to say something. especially about people being there and, you know, doing what they're supposed to be doing. Now, example. This is one of the major problems that not everybody can express, but I'm sure they feel the same way I do. Yes, you want to offer people variety of food and stuff, but you don't want to, like, for an example, you don't want to be, especially with me, since I'm verbal, you don't want to take stuff out, put it on the counter, and say, out of these choices, what do you want for dinner? I'm more than capable of telling you what I want, as long as I know what's in the refrigerator. Don't try and say to me, well, I haven't seen you eat this in a couple days. You know. Yeah, there's a difference between it going bad, and there's a difference between that's when you can cook, or that's what's easier for you to cook. The job is not necessarily what's easy and what's convenient for you. During the time that you work for the client, and whether or not you're with an agency or not, you work for that client. You don't work for anybody else around that client. Now, this gets a little controversial as far as this goes right now. But, for example, if you've got family members in the house with the client you're working for, technically, if you're doing laundry, you're only supposed to do that person's laundry. You're only supposed to make that person's meals. You're only supposed to mop the client's floor in the bedroom or in their apartment. You're not supposed to do other stuff for the client, other people's stuff along with it. Now, when I say all this, it's up to you if you want to be nice and do it for them. Do it for anybody else in the house, but you're not necessarily going to get paid for doing it for everybody. Now, if this is new, if a client asks you to run to the store or something, you can bill for that. You can bill for meal prep when you've got to run to the store or run to the restaurant to pick up food because that's part of meal prep, as far as I'm concerned. Now, meal prep in that case, people in the state would tell me no. Meal prep is meal prep and that's it. But if you gotta go out to the store, if you gotta go out to a restaurant to pick up the food because they ordered out, you can put that down as meal prep as far as I'm concerned. Because that's, if that's what they want, you gotta get the food, you gotta put it on plates, you gotta, all that's billed for. All that you can bill for. But here's one that makes sense in one way, but doesn't make sense in others. As far as pets go, no. You can't bill for pets. If you want to feed an animal, or you want your PCA to feed an animal, that's their choice to do. Taking animals out for walks, stuff like that, that's their choice. But I do want to spend a little bit of time and being honest with you. I can be a little heavy-handed with anybody in my position can be heavy-handed with their staff. And what do I mean by heavy-handed? I can say, well, you've been here so long. How long do you have to be here before you can get what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to accomplish? And that is a driving, that is kind of putting them to a position where they could tell me, well, you're driving us out. So that's something you gotta be careful of. But you also can't have PCAs make you feel like you're make you feel as a client, make you feel like the client is a doormat and be taken advantage of. Now, I've had situations where people have said this to me. You've let me do it in the past, why don't you let me do it now? Because in the past, I didn't know any better, or in the past, nothing's come up. But in the 15 years I've been there, in my house, I've been through so many difficulties. I know what I can accept and what I can't. And I know for a fact of when I'm going to need help and when I don't. And I learned that by way of calling the fire department when I needed help, because nobody was there to help me because I let them go early because of situations. Now, I'm here to say there's a difference between letting you go early and letting you go 2 hours early or whatever. And I've learned that the hard way where I can't allow people to do that anymore. Not that I've done it recently, but throughout the years I've learned that they're there for a reason, and if they want to get paid for the full shift, they're going to be there for the full shift. When we come back, I got to get into a little bit about knowing what to say and how to say it to your clients. We will be right back after this PSA. We will be right back, folks.
God of justice, Savior to all, came to rescue the weak and the poor, chose to serve and not be served. Jesus, you have called us, freely we received, now freely we will give. We must go, live to feed the hungry, stand beside the broken. We must go, stepping forward, keep us from just singing, move us into action. We must go to act justly every day, loving mercy in every way, walking humbly before you, God. You have shown us what you require. Freely we receive, now freely we will give. We must go, live to feed the hungry, stand beside the broken. We must go, stepping forward, keep us from just singing, move us into action. We must go, fill us up and send us out, fill us up and send us out, fill us up and send us out, Lord. Fill us up, send us out, fill us up, send us out, fill us up, send us out, Lord. Oh, fill us up, send us out, fill us up, send us out, fill us up, send us out, Lord. Fill us up, send us out, fill us up, send us out, fill us up, send us out, Lord. We must go, live to feed the hungry, stand beside the broken. We must go, stepping forward, keep us from just singing, move us into action. We must go. We must go. Live to feed the hungry. Stand beside the broken. We must go. Stepping forward. Keep us from just singing. Move us into action. We must go. Fill us up and send us out. Fill us up and send us out. Fill us up and send us out, Lord. Fill us up and send us out. Fill us up and send us out. Fill us up and send us out, Lord.
Good afternoon, folks, and welcome back to Wheeling the Pathway to Life Unplugged with your host, Brian Fitzpatrick. And I'd like to thank Nick Winters from New Life Community Fellowship, our pastor of worship, and one of our deacons for that beautiful song. One of the things I'd like to say is basically what I was saying before was the opinions of other people and the opinions of even the show don't matter to me as much as the opinion of Jesus Christ. It matters to me in the sense, the opinions matter to me, that in the sense that people are getting something out of it, but is this something God wants me to do? Am I having fun doing it? And two, are other people getting an education out of it, whether they want to hear what I've got to say all the time, and whether they want to hear the truth from me as opposed to somebody else. That doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me is I'm getting the information out there, and whether people accept it, that's up to them. But I'm doing what I'm meant to do, because if I didn't have Pittsburgh Community Television and the resources I've had, I'd still find a way to get the information out there. But it's a lot difficult, it's a lot more difficult, but with the resources and the expertise and the education that I'm getting from doing this, this is a way for me to practically go anywhere in the country and touch. If I touch at least one person every week and give them the information they need that I've done my job. It only takes one person to let me know that I'm doing the right thing and saying what I need, saying what I need to say as far as a human being, but more importantly, I think I'm saying what God would want me to say if I'm talking to, when I talk to Him. There's no indication that He's telling me to stop doing what I'm doing. Therefore, I'm not going to stop until He or there's no physical way that I can keep doing the show that I'm doing. Yes, we are able to do it in studio now, but even if we aren't able to do it in studio one day, I will figure out a way to get the show out of here. And while I got this opportunity, you can find out information on what's happening on New Life Pictures, New Life Community Fellowship Church on the web, and you can go to the loop on the web. And on that page, you got the loop, so you can know what's going on, know all the announcements, and know all the happenings that are going on. Thank you to Microphone for putting that up right away. But I do want to tell you also, Wheeling the Pathway to Life, for the first time, is going to be at the Common next week. And we're still working on the final details. And I still gotta get the actual times and everything. But it will be on the air at the Common during Third Thursday. I am more than excited to do it. And it's going to be a different challenge for me. But once I get the hang of it on site, we will be well versed to do the show anywhere at any time that we need to do it, or anytime anybody asks me to do a show. Now, one of the things that I started to get into, I did get into it at one point for many years while I was in high school. And I'd like to start it again and possibly take video when I do it. I've been known to go into schools and discuss things with kids and talk about disabilities and talk about safety situations with the department heads and amazing. And no disrespect, but no disrespect to the school department or anything, but I was in grammar school since the age I was in school for 18 years. And it took them up until the time I was in high school and my senior year to put in a policy that I developed as far as evaluations go. Now, that is crazy. A school system is supposed to do evaluations every year, okay? And they did. But how they did it with me was they had teachers carrying me out of buildings. Now, I have said this before, for those people that are watching on YouTube and Facebook, and on cable as well. You may or may not remember, I actually had a teacher break his back carrying me out of a building because there was nobody else to do it during a fire evacuation. And the reason why I bring this up, one particular time in that situation had to be done twice within 20 minutes of the situation. Because the first time the fire department came in, they couldn't find anything. They reset the alarm, and we got back upstairs, back up to class, and the fire alarm went off again. This time there was an actual fire inside the locker room. A bunch of lockers in a row where one locker was lit on fire and the rest of the lockers went up with it. And it had the football team's uniforms in them. It was a fire caused by another school not wanting to play football with Pittsfield High. So one of their students came in and lit the lockers on fire. This was years ago, so this was nothing to do with the school system, but this was nothing to do with the current school system, but from that point on, I had mentioned the policy, suggested the policy. I'm gonna let you guys think for a minute. Where do you go? Where are you supposed to go during a fire? What can't you use during a fire? One, you cannot use an elevator during a fire. There are two main reasons why you can't use an elevator during a fire. One, meaning one is the door door can open on the fire floor. And two, the firemen use the cars to carry the hose up from before the floor. They do not use it themselves, but they put the hose in there and put the car up on the fire floor, and then open the door and grab the hose and feed the line from there. Two, so there's two main reasons. Again, the fire floor, you could open the doors on the fire floor, and two, they need a place to bring the hose up and feed it through the cars so they can leave the door open on the elevator and just run the hose up from floor to floor without necessarily running the car so they can, get in to the tight areas where the fire is. And two, the fire may be on the, actually three, the fire may be on the, in the elevator shaft. But that took me back and said, wait a second, here's a school system with about 150 to 200 wheelchairs. And that's just a rough guess. 150 to 200 wheelchairs. And they don't have an evacuation procedure to get out of the building. Now, how comforting would that be to you if you knew your kid was relying on just a teacher and not somebody that's more equipped to handle a fire situation? I wouldn't say it would make me too comfortable when it didn't. So that's why I put the policy in place, and I was in the right place at the right time to do it. And to this day, it's still in place, and I basically have the policy now where I remain in place during a fire or during a emergency. I want PCAs outside where they can let the fire department know where I am. I have a better chance of getting out that way. But I know there's a risk, inherent risk, of possibly not being able to get out of the building. But I'd rather take that risk than know deep down in my heart that I risked somebody else's life trying to get me out of a building that had no clue how to get me out of a building. Now, some people would say I'm crazy for that, but that is true. If if you're in my situation, yes, I have family, but I don't have kids. I have a mother and a father and a sister. But some of my staff have kids that are school aged, that they want to see their kids grow up and be productive members of society. And I want them to be able to see that. Plus, they can try and do whatever they want to do, but is it going to be successful? Is what I'm saying. And there's no guarantees in life. The only guarantees in life is you're gonna live, you gotta pay taxes, you gotta die, and you gotta go to the bathroom. Not necessarily in that order, but that's just the way I feel about it. Some people may say I'm crazy for that, but you're gonna injure me if you don't know what you're doing and you are trying to put me in a position that you know you can't get me into safely in a hurry, and trying to do a normal transfer with me may be impossible during this time of the situation because of fear and because of the inexperience of the person doing it. It's not that I'm not saying they can't do it. I just don't want to take the risk of hurting me or hurting themselves. Have them take the risk of hurting me or themselves trying to get me out of a building. I'd rather have somebody say, well, I did what I could do when he didn't make it, rather than say, I tried to get him out. I was a hero. I broke my back trying to get him out, but he died anyway. That's not something that I could live with and know that I may live, but somebody else may die because they're trying to get me out of the building. You know, it's just a weird way to look at it, I know, but it's not something that was an easy decision. And believe me, it was a long time before I came to that conclusion, and that was a while after I came to the Lord that I came to that conclusion that, you know, life can only last so long. You can prolong it if you're gonna have a good quality life, but if you're not, then you know, if something happens, I'm not saying go out there and kill yourself at all, and I'm not recommending that, but if there's not much that God wants you to do, that God can use you for, and God takes you home, That's the way it is. When we come back, I'll give you some information about what's coming up and what I'm planning. And then next week we will be at the Common. We will be right back after this quick PSA break. Thank you. We will be right back.
I have a maker. He formed my heart before even time began. My life was in his hand. He knows my name. He knows my every thought. He sees each tear that falls and hears me when I call. I have a father, and he calls me his own, and he'll never leave me, no matter where I go. He knows my name. He knows my every thought. And he sees each tear that falls and hears me when I call. He knows my name. He knows my every thought. And he sees each tear that falls and hears me when I call. Hears me when I call. Hears me when I call.
Good afternoon, folks. This is Brain Fitzpatrick bringing you an episode of Wheeling the Pathway to Life. I should clarify that I'm nowhere near saying that people don't have different opinions and don't have different viewpoints of looking at things, but if there is nothing you can do, nothing that you can do in the event of a fire or something like that, then you gotta take life as it comes, and you gotta take every situation with a grain of salt and just realize that you're not always going to be here, and there is something better on the other side. If people believe that, that's fine, but I'm not saying you necessarily have to believe as I do. But I just want you to understand that I am not saying stay in a burning situation or anything. I am not recommending by any means that people cannot go and do what they feel is necessary for them. That's totally your decision, but I'm just speaking from a personal situation and saying what I would do. This show is basically to give you a place where you can start the conversation, give you some ideas and ways to start conversations with your caregivers or with your significant others if you're married or whatever, and you got a disability, that, hey, we need to look at this. Brian's right. We need to take this into consideration. We need to look at this very seriously. Because if you don't look at it as a person in the wheelchair or in the disability situation, who is? I know one person that does, but he gives us the ability to make decisions ourselves and gives us the know-how to do it. He's there to support us, but he doesn't do everything for us. He lets us make decisions, and that is Jesus Christ. And without him, I wouldn't be anywhere. And without you, who continue to impress me and who continue to watch my show week after week, and the people that I talk to every week, and the things that I do to put these shows together, you guys are the reason why I do this. You guys are the reason and the motivation to continue to do these shows. And based on that, in the final few seconds that I have, based on that, we will be live at the Common on 81st Street. It's undetermined what time and everything, but I will post it on Facebook and YouTube where I'm going to be, what time and everything. And please, if you can, come out and say hi. And it's going to be the typical third Thursday. So people are going to be there anyway, but if you want to purposely stop by, say hi, and watch a production live, I would implore you to do it. And not only say hi to me and show support for me and what I do, but show support for a great agency and a great group of people that allow shows like this and the public to come in and make their own TV shows and learn more about what they're all about, learn about what I'm all about, and learn the true meaning of disabilities. And the purpose of this show is to show, yes, we may have a clinical disability, but is it a disability at all? Or is it an ability, or is it a disability? Is it an ability, or is it a disability? I dare to say, my disability is enabling me to do wonderful things, and I will continue to do them as long as I can, and I will continue to do them with wonderful agencies and wonderful supports, and support by the general public and people that watch my show and people that make comments, good, bad, or indifferent. You can get a hold of me at Wheeling the Pathway to Life. That's Wheeling the Pathway to Life at gmail.com. You can leave me comments. Leave me comments on YouTube. We are live on YouTube, on social media, as well as TV. We will continue to be live, and this is 2:30 to 3:30 on Pittsfield Community Television Channel 1301 and YouTube at Wheeling the Pathway to Life, and Facebook. Just look up Brain Fitzpatrick on Facebook, and I hope to see you at the Common next week. Have a good week, have a good afternoon, and we will see you at the Common, 81st Street, next week. We will see you all next week.
You can play.